Good day everyone. So today we're going to talk about the relation between phonetics and stuttering. Our group members consist of 5 members, which is me, Hazi, Fakrul, Ikmal, Faishal and Raja. So enjoy! First and foremost, we're going to talk about the introduction. Now, let's look at the definition. Stuttering affects the fluency of speech. It begins during childhood and in some cases lasts throughout life. This disorder is characterized by disruptions in the production of speech sounds, also called defluencies. Most people produce brief defluencies from time to time. For instance, some words are repeated and others are preceded by or a. Defluencies are not necessarily a problem. However, they can impede communication when a person produces too many of them. Let's move on to the objective. We have about 3 objectives to talk to. The first one is to study the relationship between stuttering and phonetics. Now, secondly, what phonetics has to say about stuttering. Last one, highlight the analysis of previous research papers regarding stuttering and phonetics. When I say methods, what comes to your mind? We have one method to be talked to. Content analysis method on this project. Basically, we're just going through all the research paper regarding this topic and extract all the important data that is necessary to the project. I would like to talk about the research paper number 1. Phonetic difficulty and stuttering in English. Peter Howell, James A. Young, Scott Yaris and Calvin Eggridge. The main intention of this study was to see whether the results from the IPC technique correspond with previous findings about phonetics, difficulty and stuttering. Now, let's see the method used in the research paper. If I say IPC technique, what comes to your mind again? IPC technique stands for Index of Phonetics Complexity. It was stated by Jakelski 1998. Based on Manilage and Davis 1990 perspective about children's language development that has been used for analysis of stutter speech. I would love to move on to findings. The finding of this project is to summarize the IPC scores can potentially be used to partly predict stuttering occurrence that arises out of planning difficulty in older speakers who stutter but not for young speakers. Next, tests were conducted by assuming each factor contributes equally or does not contribute at all while. In practice, each factor may have different degrees of importance or loading in predicting stuttering occurrence. Let's move on to research paper 2. The first point I would like to say is the relation between phonologic difficulty and the occurrence of diffluencies in the early stage of stuttering. Let's focus on the definitions. Main purpose of this research paper is to determine whether the occurrence of diffluencies, most typical stuttering in preschool age children, is influenced by the phonologic difficulty of the disfluent word. Carry out their research by selecting 24 preschool children who stutter. How about the method used in research paper? First, phonologic skill assessment. It assesses phonological differences through the child-elicited production of 50 single-syllable and multi-syllable words. Diffluency analysis. A spontaneous speech sample of approximately 1,000 words was obtained from each subject during two 20-minute recordings on separate days about 1 week apart. Data analysis. Group data were derived by computing the means and standard deviations of the proportions of diffluent words, following words, and total words in the speech samples. I guess this is the end. Let's talk about findings. This research paper concludes that phonologic difficulty, as defined by phonologic analysis, was not a factor that had a clear influence on the occurrence of stuttering like diffluencies. Most of the words that contain stuttering like diffluencies were not phonologically difficult or had only a single element of phonologic difficulty. All in all, stuttering does not necessarily occur when a person had phonological difficulties. There is no clear connection between phonetics and the occurrence of stuttering. Although there is a glimpse of connection between two factors, there is still a lot to find out, to research about in order to get the clear picture of those two. Thank you, Forrest.